stuck here. The cops won't bother me. Vstrom or Yamaha Super Tenere? That is the question. And you know, this bike doesn't feel big. I mean, it is a big bike, 1200 cc's, parallel twin. It's a big bike. It's a maxi ADV bike. But it doesn't feel like it. You know, when you're riding it, it's very similar to the vstrom, except it feels like a much higher build. Vstrom 650 or Yamaha Super Tenere 1200, it seems like you can't compare it, because that's what everybody keeps telling you. You can't compare it, but they're absolutely in the same league. It's just bigger. One is bigger than the other. The vstrom 650 weighs 490 pounds. This weighs 580, so quite a big, significant increase in weight. But you do get more power, and you get that lovely shaft drive that doesn't seem to break. And I haven't heard of any shaft drives breaking on the Yamaha Super Tenere. And the best thing is you can neglect it. You know, not that I do, but you can absolutely neglect this bike and it's not going to do anything. You can't go wrong with the reliability of the vstrom or of the Super Tenere. I've heard of some issues happening on the early Teneres, specifically this one, the 2012 and 2013. But I haven't had those issues, and this bike has got 52,000 miles and it's riding as if it's new. I mean, I've ridden many bikes, and this thing, it just seems like there's nothing wrong with it. The motor is quiet. You know, it's not like a very high stress motor. And I think the previous owner did a lot of highway riding, and I think that's why he accumulated a lot of miles. V-twin of the vstrom, I believe, is a much better engine than the Super Tenere. You know, I'm not tried to bash this one, because this engine is the only engine that I found to be almost as good as a V-twin. I mean, this thing sounds fantastic. Not right now, right? But when I rev it, I don't know if I want to do that. See, there's like this weird induction engine sound, and I think Yamaha really knows how to build engines. They're a musical company as well, so I think they know how to build something that sounds good as well. There goes an Ultimate. That's a super douche. But this thing sounds very good. Not up to the par of the V-twin. But the V-twin on that vstrom is a gem. That thing is one of the best engines you can get. It gives you everything that you need. As a 650, like, what else do you need? It's a really fantastic engine that's put on many motorcycles. SV650, it's just so good. Look at that, I'm up to 80 something miles an hour already. So very good bike for highway. It's very comfortable, this thing. Talking about price, the vstrom, of course, is cheaper. The Tenere might be $6,000 used with a lot of miles, and the vstrom with a lot of miles might be $2,500 to $3,000, so half the price. That's why it's hard to justify getting the Super Tenere over the vstrom. And if you have a limited budget, I mean, the vstrom is really good. The only downside really for me is the shaft drive. Shaft drives are just so much easier to live with, I think. You know, when it comes to the CB500, I still think the vstrom is a better bike. So in a way, like in this video, I want to tell you guys that the vstrom 650 is such a good bike that I could potentially be getting another vstrom. You know, just putting up with the damn chain. But then again, now I have this one, so what's the point? You know, the wind protection on this Super Tenere is vastly superior to the vstrom. I actually have to open up my visor to get some good airflow in here. But it also has to do with this turning windscreen. It's bigger than stock, so it really deflects a lot of the wind. I really like that my legs are tucked underneath a little bit. You have to tuck further back just a little bit more than the vstrom. It gives me a little bit of a sportier position. This one is a much better highway bike, just because of the wind protection. For visibility on both bikes is equally great. I think a lot has to do with the ADV style, you know, wide handlebars, good mirror positions. You know, if you've ridden sport bikes for a while, then you have gotten used to looking at your shoulders. It's something that motorcycle makers should try and do and fix that just by pushing mirrors out 1 inch. Maybe just make the mirrors slightly bigger. I don't know why, but I guess they don't take into account the jackets that people wear with the shoulder pads. When it comes to horsepower, the V-twin from vstrom makes about 50-60 horsepower, and that's more than enough that you need for every sort of riding, I think. But this one, I believe it's like 100 or 90 to 100. I forgot what it is, 120, whatever. It's actually inconsequential. It doesn't mean anything. For an adventure bike, the power delivery is more important. Well, a downside that you don't hear often when comparing to the vstrom is that the rear tires on this bike do wear out a lot because you have so much more weight and power. So one of the things I heard is that the tires wear out every, I guess, 5,000 to 8,000 miles. It's quite normal. So I think that's one of the reasons I want this bike for dark siding. You know, the advantages of both of these bikes is that you can pretty much just abuse, you shouldn't abuse them, but you can pretty much abuse these two bikes. They don't require a lot from you. So guys, that is some of the advantages and disadvantages of the vstrom and the Super Tenere. I know that people are going to be going, please compare an apple to an orange. But the people that get one also get the other. It's not like getting a Super Tenere is an upgrade. You know, there are things that people should be aware, because if you're in the market for an adventure bike, I want you to know that sometimes an older, cheaper bike is smarter than a new one. You know, my vote really is for the vstrom. The vstrom makes a better adventure bike.